The C45 Dynasty elongated paddles are easily my favorite elongated paddles to date. Let's talk about why. Now, before going too far, I'll only be covering the Dynasty paddles. The Tempo, while a good performing paddle, just felt very much like a kid paddle, short handle, short in length, and doesn't utilize the full allowable dimensions. And with so many great all-court leaning power standard shape paddles like the Neonic Flare Prime X and the Monarch Power Series all performing better, I don't think that's a paddle that I can recommend. However, these Dynasty paddles are some of the best elongated shape paddles currently on the market. Now, before we go too far, let's talk about the differences. The 16mm will be softer feeling, have equivalent power, maybe slightly better on drives, serves, and putaways, whereas the 14mm paddle will be much more aggressive, has great power, some of the best pop and reactivity off the face that I've felt in a while, and both of these paddles have that unique stiffer feel off the face, but a plusher feel or more dwelly feel from the core itself, which is something that's very unique. If you're wondering which one of these paddles would be best for you, if you're looking for something that is going to be not super powerful and aggressive, the 16mm is better for you. If you like a stiffer, more crisp feeling paddle that's very aggressive, I would say the 14mm is for you. Now, why do I think these are the best elongated shape paddles currently on the market? Well, I think they do tiptoe that line of all-court leaning power to power leaning all-court. They really are, in my opinion, the bottom line of power, while remaining very linear with its face reactivity and power profile. It makes them quite easy to control and be very predictable. Now, with this very unique feel and good amount of power, the 14mm is definitely, in my opinion, the best of the bunch. With great pop, very good spin, relatively stable for a elongated shape paddle, which comes to the shape of it, which is actually not necessarily a true elongated. It's 16.4 by 7.6, which gives it actually a fairly forgiving and stable feel for an elongated shape paddle, which in my opinion is obviously one of the best things about this paddle. Crazy enough, I would say that these paddles are more stable and forgiving than their hybrid shape paddle, which is 16.35 by 7.5 inches long. These Dynasty shapes are, in my opinion, by far the best shape that is offered in the C45 lineup. In terms of firepower, I would say the 14mm model really equivalates similarly to the 11624 Power Series, maybe a touch less powerful, but the pop is definitely top tier. The 16mm paddle will have equivalent power with less pop, making it a less aggressive paddle. In terms of spin, I would say that these are very good paddles in terms of spin generation. Although they are not the grittiest surface, they will provide plenty sufficient spin. Now, in terms of control, the 16mm is going to be easier to control. However, the 14mm model is not difficult in my personal opinion. Now, in terms of maneuverability, both of these paddles are nowhere near as maneuverable as the original C45. I had a 117 swing weight 16mm paddle and a 116 swing weight 14mm paddle. Far away from the 104 stock swing weight of the C45, but these still are relatively maneuverable for elongated shape paddles, which still fits in that line of the C45 hyper maneuverable, but still very good power output. Now, with the slightly shorter and slightly wider length than most traditional elongated shape paddles, the C45 Dynasty is one of the most forgiving and, in my opinion, one of the best elongated shape paddles. Coming in at $207 after Code Pursuit makes these a expensive paddle, but nowhere near the likes of the Yolas or other $280 plus paddles. Now, the C45 is so good that I did main it for quite a while. It is the first elongated shape paddle that I've ever made, which speaks volumes. I do think that the 14mm is the better choice. However, if you just really like the feel of the C45, but want something a little bit more plush and a little bit less pop, the 16mm would be a good option for you. Hope you enjoyed this review. Until the next one, I'm Lewis with Pickleball Pursuit, and I'll see you guys soon.